Our next guest was one of the best point guards the NBA has ever seen, and now he's leading one of the best young teams in the NBA. We welcome Bucks coach Jason Kidd to the program. Jason, what's going on?
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Very good. And thank you so much for joining us. I want to start with your superstar, Giannis. You've said he could be a mixture of Magic Johnson and Kevin Garnett. How close is he to being the best player in the association?
Well, you talk about a 22-year-old. Giannis has worked extremely hard. And when I made the comment about Kevin Garnett and Magic Johnson, it was, showing that he can do a lot of different things by finding open teammates. He has the passion to win. He's learning to win. He's only 22 years old. He's worked extremely hard. I think, he's trusted the process of learning what it takes to be a star. And it starts in the summer, and he works extremely hard, and he's a big student of the game.
Jay Kidd, appreciate you coming on the show, my man. I got to get right to this. I think the Bledsoe deal is a big deal. Talk to me about why you guys wanted him, and specifically what you believe he'll bring to the table for your franchise in this year's Eastern Conference.
Well, he brings something that we don't have, and that's speed. You can always talk about us having length and being long, but we don't have a speed guard and toughness. I think Bledsoe is one that believes that he's one of the top point guards in this league, and we need that confidence. His leadership, he's been in the playoffs before, so he understands what it takes to get there. But I think he just will complement the guys that we have on our team, and I think he's going to help us. Again, a guy who can score. Last year he scored 20 points in Phoenix, and that's something that we're going to need.
Coach, what are you going to, how does the rotation, how's that going to work now? I think Monroe for Bledsoe is a great trade. Bledsoe's a fantastic player and everything, but now you do have minutes at the five you need to fill up. Thon Maker, looks like he has the potential to be terrific, but maybe not at the moment. The trajectory isn't what we'd all hope early anyway. Brogdon and everything. How's this all going to work in terms of rotation and minutes?
Well, when we had Thon starting, we were the second youngest starting five in the league, and with all the expectations, it's a great compliment. But when you're young in this league, you have to understand that you have to work twice as hard because we have some very talented teams in this league. There's 48 minutes in a game. There's 82 games to be played. It will all balance itself out. Understanding from past experiences, being traded from Dallas to Phoenix, I went there to Phoenix, and they had Kevin Johnson and a guy by the name of Steve Nash. And I thought Ainge figured out how to play all three of us. So just learning from the past, taking some of that experience, talking with Deli and Malcolm and Bledsoe about there could be a chance that those three will be on the floor at the same time because the game is played differently now. You put your best five out on the floor at the end with 6 minutes left to find a way to win. And those three guys could be on the floor because the small ball is at a very high level right now in this league.
Coach Kidd, I'm watching you guys right now, and I'm looking at the rest of the Eastern Conference. I'm looking at Toronto. I'm looking at Boston with Kyrie and what he's doing with them. I'm looking at all of these different things, but I'm looking at the Greek Freak, and I'm saying to myself, if this kid gets any kind of consistent jump shot, look out. The world is his. And now with the acquisition of Bledsoe, I think a legitimate argument could be made that if this team is able to come together, you guys could be the number 2 team in the Eastern Conference. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think, again, this is something that is new for everyone. When you talk about expectations and how do you handle the expectations, do you believe the expectations? And if you do believe the expectations, that means you have to work that hard, that much harder to be successful because when you guys talk about being number 2, that puts a bullseye on your back. And can we handle that being young? Again, as I mentioned, Giannis is 22, Jabari is 22. When you talk about Bledsoe and Chris Middleton, we have guys that are only 25 or 26 years old. They have to go through the process of going through those different wars, and we've been through 2 playoff series that have gone to 6 games, and hopefully we can handle these expectations. But this is a new thing for us to be able to handle when you guys say be the second seed. What does that really mean? And understanding that you have to come out and play every night.
Jason, another big story, obviously, in the NBA has been Lonzo Ball coming out of college. A lot of people comparing him to you. I personally think it's a stretch, but what's your reaction to that?
I agree. I agree with you.
What do you think the pros and cons of Lonzo's games is?
He's a rookie. He's a rookie, and Ball is going to be fine. He's got a great coach in Walton, and understanding it's going to take a little time, because of all the hype and the expectations that everybody thought he was going to come out and set the league on fire. But he also has a bullseye on his back, and there's other guys in this league that believe that they're better. So he has to understand what it means to be prepared and be ready to play on a nightly basis. But he still has a skill set that a lot of guys don't have in this league, and that's making his teammates better.
Coach, let's stick with that comparison in this regard. When I've watched you play throughout the years, there's two things that I think stands out. Number one, you were always going after it. There was never a question about your lack of assertiveness. You were always trying to make things happen. And number two, you played defense. When I think about Lonzo Ball, it's very, very early in his career. But those are the two things that I find to be most glaring. So when somebody compares anybody to you, what do you believe is appropriate for people to bring up about what kind of game you had if they're going to compare folks to you?
I think the first thing, does someone play hard for 48 minutes? And are you willing to do anything to win? And so far, it's still early in his career. And as someone said earlier, it's a stretch. He has to understand what it means to play hard and what it means to win and how to win at the highest level. And it takes time. And hopefully in 3 years, maybe there is a better comparison. But right now, it is a stretch, and he has a ways to go.